Hello everyone. So today I'm going to explain the test execution process in our organization. So what is the process when the developer will deploy the code in QC or QA environment so that I can start the execution, right? So what is the process they are following actually? So these are the block I have created in this PPT. I'll explain one by one. When to start QC, when you have to give the sign off and release note. Okay, so I'll explain one by one. So suppose this block I'll consider as dev team. So what they will do, suppose in this particular sprint, suppose it is a 2 week sprint or 3 week sprint, they are developing their CR or feature. Okay, and after that they will do some unit testing whether those developed code is working fine or not, right? So in the dev environment they are testing, they're doing all unit testing, and after that they are documenting all the unit test case result, and they will upload those documents results in ADO, and after that they can mention that yes, our code is working fine now, so we can deploy our dev code to QC environment so that from the testing team they can start their execution. Okay, so now this is the point where the development team will deploy the code in QC environment. So this block I'll consider as a QC environment. Okay, so in this particular QC environment we are considering it as a lower environment. Okay, so in this lower environment we'll start the testing which they have developed. Okay, so similar way we are writing the test cases, reviewing part is also done with the stakeholders. Then we will start executing all the test cases one by one. We're capturing all the screenshots, execution screenshots, and we're uploading all the results in ADO. Okay, so we are saying that the development team which they have developed, it is all are working fine. So I have already captured all the test case results. Test cases also have uploaded in ADO. So now this is the time where I am telling them that I'll give the sign off. So sign off is nothing but a final confirmation that everything is working as expected. Okay, so I'm giving the sign off so that development team can deploy their code from QC to QA environment. Okay, so at the time of giving sign off email or writing sign off email to each and every person, to the stakeholder also, so that time we are attaching the release note also. Okay, so I'll explain the release note in detail in my next video, but at the time of sending the sign off email we are sending the release note document also. So that document is nothing but a, like, the development team has developed one particular feature, right? So that feature details, what was the Jenkins version they have used, what are the code version they have used. Okay, and from our side test case scripts we can upload in that particular release note. If there is a known defect, that one also we are capturing in the release note document. ADO link also we are giving so that they can easily click on that link and it will go to the ADO, all the task development, QA, what are the tasks we have created, what are the execution screenshot and unit test case results are available. So those things they can easily watch that what are the things we have done as part of our execution process. Okay, so at the time of writing the sign off email to all the stakeholder, we are attaching the release note document as well so that they can easily understand what are the feature we have worked on, what are the test cases are there, what are the execution evidences, unit test case results, what are the tasks we have closed, everything it was mentioned in the release note. Okay, so we are giving release note and sign off email, that means I am okay with the QC environment testing. The same feature now we can test in QA environment. So for us QA environment is nothing but a higher environment where the onshore team will start the testing the same feature. So here also they are categorizing some of the test cases, okay, and those test cases they are executing in QA environment. Okay, so that we can easily check if anything is missed in QC environment, we can easily then catch in QA environment. So this particular QC environment we are saying as a lower environment here, or offshore, and this QA environment we are considering here as a onshore environment or higher environment. Okay, the same feature they will also test in QA environment as well. If they'll find any defect, then they'll notify us that boss, the for same feature you guys did not find the defect, but we got one defect. Then we'll again recheck the same test cases, same steps what they have followed, the same steps we'll try to do in QC environment, and we'll check whether it is reproducible or not in QC environment. If it is not, then I will inform no boss, there is no problem in QC environment. If it is, then we will inform them, then development team will start working on that particular part. Okay, so if they'll not find any defect, if I'll follow the happy path, if they'll not find any defect in QA environment also, so similar way they will also give the sign off and release note also. Okay, so that development team can deploy their code now from QA to UAT environment. So this is the environment where the client team or some of the person client from the client QA testing team, they will start testing the same feature. But in this particular environment, they will mainly focus on the business requirement test cases, not the test cases which we have written and which we have performed in QC and QA. So those test cases they will not consider. They will mainly focus on the exact business requirement test cases. Okay, so then they will also high level they will check all those particular business related test cases, and they'll execute on that environment. If they are also fine with that, then they will give the sign off from the UAT environment as well. So then it will be deployed to production. This is the final environment. In production environment, once again the client team will check all the business related test cases, and based on their experience level they will check that particular feature which development team has already delivered. So if they're fine, then our job is done. But if they'll find any defect, then they will raise as a production defect, and again we have to do as a reverse engineering. In this stage, if they'll find any defect, then we have to follow the same steps which they have done. The same steps we have to follow in QC first, then QA, then UAT. So it will be like a reverse engineering. So in production environment, if they'll not find any defect, then our job is done. But if we'll find any defect, then we have to reproduce the same steps in QC environment. First lower environment will check. If it is not reproducible, then we can say that no, it is a production environment only we are getting this defect, not in QC or QA. Okay, so this is the process we are following in our organization. So now the part is like QA person will be responsible for either multiple environment testing or maybe single environment testing. In our organization, based on our SOW sign, we are testing only in QC environment. But some of the organization, some of the client side, they are saying that no, we have to give the support QC, QA, UAT, all the environment you have to give the support. If they'll find any difficulties to execute, or if they are not aware of that particular part, then you have to help them. Okay, so then that time QA person will be responsible all the environment testing, not thoroughly. He will be responsible only deep level testing in QC, but QA and UAT environment they'll give just support. Okay, so that is the based on the SOW how they have signed it with your organization. Okay, so this is the overall test execution process in environment wise which we are following in our organization. So I hope it will be helpful for you guys also. Thank you.